Welcome along, everybody. We are back for more bronze action tonight. Unfortunately, for the viewing public, it's me in the comments box and not Sean Meek. Unfortunately, he is, I think he's having some birthday celebrations, actually. Of course, his birthday was on Sunday, so he has been, he's been out and about today to make up for lost time. Of course, he was commentating on Gold on his birthday as well, so give him a bit of time off here and there. Even ALR needs to give him some time off every now and then. So unfortunately, you are stuck with me tonight. But here we go then. We've got a bronze ready to get going as Kaz has left the session then. That's not good news. Hopefully he can get himself back in. But like I was saying, we have got the bronze action coming up for you tonight. Season 5 of Bronze's Vintage has left the session as well. So yeah, not looking good for some of the drivers there. Hopefully they can get themselves back in. It seems like it's only those two have gone, who've disappeared so far. The title are that what's going on here? I think people are leaving. Is what's going on. No, have we got a new session going on? I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Like I said, welcome along to the stream. We'll get it sorted. I think it's only just two people who've left, as far as I can tell, Vintage and Kaz. Hopefully they can get themselves back in the lobby, but it seems like everybody else is still in, as far as I can tell anyway, but nobody's yet out on track. So like I said, we can't quite tell who's in and who's not really, but hopefully they can get themselves sorted and get themselves underway. We've got 17 minutes, of course, of the qualifying around the Shanghai International Circuit. We have got some activity from the pit lane now, as a Haas is exiting the lane. It is TK as Vintage has joined back, which is good news. Hopefully Kaz can get himself back in as well. TK, like I said, is the like I said, the first driver out on track. He's followed closely by a Alfa Romeo of its Echo Meister there in the Alfa Romeo. Of course, in P3, he's confirmed that P3 as well last round. So he's going to be finishing in the top 3 in the bronze drivers standings. That is, of course, we have the title fight for bronze still pretty much wide open here between Dynamo Dan. Well, not wide open, I would say, it's quite closed. Dynamo Dan in P2, he's 27 points behind his rival of Jinnah. Of course, 2 races to go. There is technically 52 points available to either driver. Of course, if Dynamo Dan needs to outscore Jinnah by 1 point to keep the title fight alive for the last race of the season, of course, in 1 week's time in Abu Dhabi. That is the final showdown here in bronze, and of course the final showdown for the ALR season as well across all the divisions. In a week's time, of course. So, like I said, bronze is going to be taking us through for the final time of F122 as well around Shanghai. This is it for the 2022 for the Chinese Grand Prix in ALR, that is. So, like I said, there's not any more action around this famous circuit anymore after this race tonight. Kaz, it says loading back in, so yeah, Kaz is the only one who's not back in the session, I don't think. So hopefully he can get himself sorted and jump back into the lobby. Bravitt said fingers crossed for Mushroom, hopefully he can finish in the points again. Mushroom, of course, famously a very consistent driver, starting further down the order. Usually his qualifying is not up to scratch, but usually in the race it comes back to him, doesn't he, because he keeps it very clean and tidy usually. In most cases we've seen Mushroom there get some good points for the Haas team, and TK there. TK's got some great pace indeed in that Haas. Unfortunately, it didn't go well for him in the Portuguese Grand Prix last week, but hopefully he can replicate his form from earlier on in the season, where he's got quite a few pole laps on board that Haas car. Gunter Steiner has been very happy with his qualifying pace. It's just converting that into the points for the race itself for TK. So let's have a look and see. Hopefully he can do that there as he goes through Sector 2 now in car number 2 as well. But like I was saying, 27 points separates Dynamo Dan there in P2 of the standings to his rival of Jinnah, who is out on lap as well. So Jinnah, they're currently leading the way in the championship. In the constructors, we've also got potential for the champions. Well, champions have been crowned. So right, Alpine have been confirmed the championship winners there. But we've actually got P2 down to P6 technically or mathematically still available for them to be confirmed as well. It could be confirmed there for the Ferrari team, for the Aston Martin team as well. I think AlphaTauri are in there, and I think who else is in there? Potentially McLaren. I think McLaren are down the order, aren't they? They're the ones who are having a really bad season in bronze, unfortunately. I think Mercedes might be up there as well. So there's still from P2 down to P6 in the constructors potentially available for them to be clinched in this round, or of course in the next round. Of course, TK there sets the fastest lap so far, the first lap of the session, a 33.693 there from the Haas driver. That's the ballpark to try and beat then. as a few more drivers there coming around the circuit as well. Here comes Jake the Slayer there, of course, reserved last night in silver, and he just pips TK to the post at the moment by 0.3 of a second there in the Alpine tonight, of course. Jenner there into P2 there, right behind his teammate there. He's just over, well, half a tenth behind his teammate, but it is very close indeed between the two Alpines though, setting the precedent so far in terms of the speed, in terms of the pace. Kiki there goes up into P3 as Marvsky is back in the pits. He's abandoned his lap. I think there's a left end plate or right end plate damage there for the AlphaTauri driver, unfortunately. Here comes Dynamo Dan through sector 2. Of course, he is the title challenger here. He needs to try and beat Jenner there, or at least get one more point than Jenner in this race to be able to take the title fight to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the final Grand Prix of the season. Speed Kai has jumped up into P1 there ahead of the Alpines there. He's of course reserving tonight in place of Brooksy. I think Brooksy's unfortunately not going to take the race tonight, so hopefully he can get himself back for the finale there in a week's time. But Speed Kai in his Red Bull has put himself on pole position for the time being, that is. 33.174 for him. I think Sicker's not there slotting in the time there into P7 there in the Mercedes. Here comes Dynamo Dan, like I was saying, the title challenger. Let's have a look and see what he can do. Can he get himself ahead of the Alpines? That's where he needs to be. Well, definitely needs to be ahead of one Alpine. They're the title favourite at the moment of Jenner. He comes around the final corner now. What can he do then? Up to the line in the Ferrari. It's going to be P4. He is just over half a tenth behind his rival as well. So it's going to be close indeed between the Ferrari and the Alpine once again in this fantastic season for bronze. It's looking like the title fight is going to be challenged tonight by Dynamo Dan with that lap as well. Kiki there in P5. Vessia there in P6. Good lap from him. TK there back in the pits after setting the first lap of the session as well. The track will rubber in as we get ourselves underway in this qualifying. So at the very beginning of qualifying, it's not going to be as grippy, as fast in the latter stages. So like I said, it's a bit of a sort of tyre warming up and a bit of a track warming up as well throughout this qualifying. There we go. Luke is in the Mercedes tonight in place of, I can't remember, but he is in the Mercedes. It's not Sicker's Muck, because Sicker's Muck is in the car, in the other car I should say. But I think it's D-Mac actually in the Mercedes, isn't it? So unfortunately D-Mac not taking to the track tonight as well. I think only 3 drivers there not being able to make it in time. I think it's Speed Kai, Jake the Slayer and Luke there, who have jumped into the car just to replace some drivers who haven't been able to make it back in time or won't be able to make the race. But there we go. Let's have a look and see who is good, who's going to be commenting in the chat. Quick for bronze. This is Rabbit says he's too quick for bronze. Rabbit, of course, got P3 in silver last night in the Mercedes, as Luke there struggling to get around the spoon curve there, isn't he? He's really having a problem there getting that car negotiated round that final corner, or penultimate corner, as we now go down the long back straight towards the hairpin for the end of the lap. Let's have a look and see if can you ask Marsky to mute his mic or something. I think you can do that if you go into the race director. You can then select his name and click on his name and then mute him from there, if that is being a problem for you. I think you can also in the lobby, as what I do typically when I'm spectating, is mute everybody in the lobby so that anything doesn't pop up on the screen as well. Anyway, Luke has got himself up into P7. I'll get off that topic because it's not very interesting. Marvsky there is starting a lap now as well in the AlphaTauri. We're right on board with Marvsky as we go round turns 1 and now it sort of joins into turns 2 in a way. The typical the racing line through here is quite different. You can have quite a few multiple lines there through that corner, as we might see on the start of the race as well. We'll have some people going around the outside, some people going tight to the inside, and really just trying to make themselves as many places off the start as possible. But so hopefully it'll be a nice clean start this time. We saw quite a few people at the back of the field in silver having a few issues there getting through turns 1, 2 and 3 at the start of the Grand Prix, as Marsky's had a spin in sector 2, throwing it around that left-hander. That long left-hander does catch a lot of people out. If you go on the curb as well on the inside, it does spin you around, and unfortunately it has claimed another victim here tonight in the shape of Marsky, or the form of Marsky in that AlphaTauri. He's just trying to get himself back around the circuit now, it looks like, but I would advise going on the grey stuff, not the green stuff, just to make sure that you have the most grip indeed. Dukanko is setting a time as well. Duncan Dave, I should say, of course, he's got that nickname thanks to Serious Mushroom. But he has set a time there of 35.1. I don't think that's representative from Duncan Dave. I think he can get himself a bit further up the order. We've seen the pace from him before as well. Let's have a look and see who's further down the order, if anybody's on the track there. It looks like Irish New Potatoes on the medium compound tyres here. So he wants to try and get a bit of extra longevity in his race, in his qualifying lap, so to say. For whatever reason, of course, the soft compound tyres are much faster than the mediums, especially at 1 lap pace as well. Kaz is back in session. He said good luck and hello to all the drivers. We've got 20 drivers there on the grid, or taken to the grid, that I should say. Unfortunately for Echo, he's not going to be taking part. Same for not Serious Mushroom. Same for Hungry Styles there. Both of them are out of the qualifying already. 8 minutes left. There is Irish New Potato that goes up to P11 there. He's not set a great time there, I don't think, on those medium compound tyres. Maybe time to switch onto the soft compound tyres for yourself, sir. But there we go. Dylan said, evening to yourself, Dylan, as well. Of course, P2 in silver last night. All the podium runners seem to be jumping into the bronze chat tonight, which is good news. Yeah, Dylan P2 with a fantastic drive, and it was very close indeed between himself and Equez, of course, with the safety cars towards the end as well. So yeah, like I said, it was almost in range for a win there for Dylan once again in silver, but he's done a good job since he jumped into the Williams car in the silver division. In the Williams tonight, we've got Vintage, who's not out, who is out on track, I should say, and Hungry Styles, who unfortunately has decided not to take part in qualifying. But Vintage is on the circuit. They're coming through sector 2 now in car number 45. And now let's have a look and see how it is going to fare in the how the Williams is going to fare now tonight. Of course, one Williams there got the podium in silver last night, and I think where was the other Williams? I can't remember exactly where Smithy finished. I think it was just outside the points, unfortunately. But nonetheless, let's have a look and see what the Williams can do here in bronze. And I'm sure they'll do a much better job. Hopefully they can get a 1-2 there and beat the silver drivers. And we'll have to wait and see, but we can't get a 1-2 in qualifying, unfortunately, as Hungry Styles, they're not taking part. Let's have a look and see what Vintage can do now as he comes down towards the heavy braking zone there of the hairpin. And I think he's not used any ERS there. Either he's got the ERS turned off or there is a glitch, and I think he might just be starting a lap time anyway. So for some reason it was showing as he was already on a lap for me. We'll come back to that one then, because that is just me being completely wrong. New Potato has improved to a 33.7 there on the medium compound tyres. That is pretty good indeed on the mediums, but unfortunately keeps him P10, or roughly around P10 for the time being there. I think some drivers might be able to improve and knock him off the top spot. Nonetheless, speaking of top spot, I completely missed it, but TK has gone fastest. That is just my commentary skills there. Unfortunately, Sean would have definitely have caught that, but unfortunately I did not, as TK there has gone the fastest there with a 33.011. Gino there with a 33.071, so he's only 6 hundredths behind the current pole sitter of TK, and Dynamo Dan has improved to P3 as well. That is looking spicy indeed between the two championship protagonists there. TK, of course, earlier on in the season was with a shout there as well, to be in the top of the division, in the top 3, that is. Unfortunately, the errors that he's had in the races has cost him dearly. Unfortunately, he's lost out there to the he's not going to be in the top 3 at all this season, of course, but now with Echo confirmed there in P3 for the Drivers' Championship, that is. But these two, Dynamo Dan and Ginner, still have a title to be won, and a P2 to be confirmed as well. So, like I said, there's still some points up for grabs. Of course, 27 points separates the two of them. Of course, as I've been saying in the qualifying so far, this is going to be decided hopefully it should hopefully be decided in either this race or the next race. Fingers crossed it doesn't go down to a tribunal or some sort of law courts, but hopefully not. Hopefully it doesn't get that far, and we can just decide it on the track. Gina there currently, like I said, 27 points ahead. So if he can score, or if he outscores Dynamo Dan, of course, he will win the championship tonight. But if Dynamo Dan can outscore Gina by over 1 point, then he takes the fight to Abu Dhabi in a week's time. So it's not all done and dusted just yet there for the championship. It is very close indeed. It's almost, I'd say Gina's got almost all but one finger on the championship as it stands. But Dynamo Dan will be doing his best tonight there to try and make sure that he can at least extend the fight to the next or the final round of the season. Vessier there coming around at the hairpin there. Let's see if Vessier can improve on his lap time through into turn 16 there in the AlphaTauri up to the line. What's it going to be from the AlphaTauri driver? It's P4, puts himself into a comfortable position there in P4, only only a tenth and a half behind the pole position as well. It's not far off there. It's quite close indeed between the top drivers there. It's very good stuff indeed in this qualifying for all the drivers who've taken part so far. far. Unfortunately, a few drivers there still getting themselves set on track. Kaz is now onto the track as well. Same for Marvsky as well. We're wide on board with Kaz because I think no, he's not on a lap either. I think Marvsky is on a lap, though. It looks like he's used some of the ERS on this lap. So let's have a look and see what he's like when he comes around the spoon curve as well. The final spoon curve. There's quite a few of them on this track. There's 2 or 3, I think. You can count turns 1, 2, and 3 as 2 spoon curves, and then we've got the final one in sector 3. Only 3 corners there in sector 3, but like I said, it is still probably one of the most treacherous sectors in Formula 1 history, to be honest, especially with that spoon curve on this game anyway. But anyway, up to the line, what's it going to be there from the other AlphaTauri driver, of course? There's I think he's in car number 2 as well. There seems to be a lot of car number 2s on the circuit. Here comes Marvsky, though, up to the line. It's P12 for Marvsky there into the, or just outside the top 10, unfortunately for Marvsky. He has got time potentially to get himself back round. It's going to be quite tight though. 3 minutes left in the session. And a yellow flag there for an Aston Martin. Kaz is off the circuit. He's got himself back going, but Kaz is off the circuit there at turn 1. What's happened to Kaz? Hopefully he can get himself back underway, and hopefully he can get himself back round to set a competitive lap time. Yet to set a lap, well, he has set a lap time of 1:51, but that is not good enough there for anything higher than P15 for the time being. Serious Basham still in the pits. Winnie is out on track, so is J-Dog as well. So those two taken to the track as well. So hopefully get some more times flying in, as we've got a McLaren there of Kiki coming round to the final quarter to start his next flying lap. I think we've got a Haas as well of TK back on circuit. Let's have a look and see as we're riding on board with his rear wing. But now into the hairpin we go. Let's have a look and see what can he do. Can he improve? Can he get that car, that Haas car, into the 32s there? The first driver to get into the 32s tonight. Let's have a look as we go around the final corner. It's going to be tight indeed. It's going to be close indeed. Or is it? It is quite close, to be fair. He has improved there just over half a tenth, and that puts himself on pole position for the time being as well. Good stuff indeed from him. Aston Martin, they're just pulling over to the side as well. They don't want to get themselves blocked, don't want to end up blocking the pit lane, as we saw with Kamara Racer last night. It ended up with him blocking the pit lane, and that's cost him his place in the qualifying. He's got himself disqualified, didn't it? Come on, TK, says Serious Rush from there. TK currently on pole position. Of course, Jenna will have something to say about that, I'd imagine. We've got a McLaren coming down the back straight there to start off. It will finish off his out lap there to start off his next flying lap. Kaz going very wide there at the final corner as well. But now hopefully can get himself underway in this session as well. Let's have a look and see who's going to be next across the line. I think it is Jake the Slayer, who is in the Alpine tonight, reserving tonight, of course. Let's have a look and see what he can do now as he comes around the final corner, turn number 16, for the final time here in this qualifying. I think, unless he's got enough fuel on board to go again, up to P2 he goes. It's a 33.0 as well. He pips his teammate to P2. Onto the front row goes Jake the Slayer for the time being, that is. I think there might be some changes there further down the order. We've got a Mercedes coming through as well of Sickers. No, it's not. It's Luke. Luke was unfortunately invalidated, but he can go again, and it looks like he is going to try and go again as well. So that is not all done and dusted just yet for the Mercedes reserve. We've got a Williams coming through as well now, a Vintage, just about to start his flying lap as well. Same for Dynamo Dan, is it? Yep, Dynamo Dan just getting himself underway. Jenner as well. Speed Kai is coming down the back straight there. He's going to have to get a move on, I think, because he's going to run out of time otherwise. New Potato there up to the line in the Red Bull as Ginny goes fastest. I thought he said he was on a lap. I wasn't on a lap there, but here comes New Potato with a fantastic lap time of 32.904 to take pole position as it stands. TK down to P3, unfortunately, for the Haas driver, and I think Dynamo Dan might have something to say about that as well, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's have a look and see what Speed can do. Speed's just starting a lap as well here. He's got 20 seconds to get himself across the line, and then we've got Vintage as well coming through. No, there's a Williams going into the pit lane, I think there. Or was that an Aston Martin of Kaz? I think Kaz is into, no, it's not Kaz, it's Takanko into the pit, so that is him no higher than P13 tonight, unfortunately for Takanko. Let's have a look and see who's the next driver across the line. It's going to be J-Dog, I think. J-Dog up to P7 there with his first and only lap of the qualifying session into P7 for the McLaren tonight. Good stuff indeed. Vessier has also started off another lap just in time there to cross the line. Unfortunately, Marvsky, Takanko and Serious Rush, they're not going to be able to set a time. We've got other drivers on track. Winnie's had a bit of a problem there in Sector 2. and he's had to abort his lap time there as well. Let's have a look and see. He's going to be next across the line. It's going to be a Mercedes, I think, of Luke. Let's have a look and see what Luke can do as he comes around the final corner now in the Mercedes up to the line. It's improved, but he's not improved enough, I don't think. Unfortunately for Luke, stays P11 for the time being. We have had somebody else cross the line as well, have we? No, I don't think so. Now we've got a Williams next across the line. It's going to be Vintage, as Vintage comes around the final corner as well up to the line. It's going to be improving quite quick, quite massively indeed. He improved by 0.8 of a second. Is there rain falling here in China? I think there might have been a bit of rain there. I didn't quite see it, unfortunately, but there we go. Nuke Jinner is back in the pits. So New Potato currently on pole position. Dynamo Dan has aborted his lap time. He's into the pits as well. That is him in P5, or at most P5, unfortunately for him. There we go then. Here comes Kiki. They're going a bit wide there through the final corner. That is not going to be good enough, I don't think, for Kiki as he crosses the line there in P10 there. Sick as muck coming down the back straight. Unfortunately, not going to be able to improve Duncan David is not there. It's Speed Kai who's up in pole position there. He's taken the pole position away from his teammate there, Irish New Potato. It is a Red Bull front row as it stands there with New Potato in P2 and Speed Kai, of course, reserving tonight in place of Brooksy in P1, unless anybody else can hold a candle to them there as Vessier crosses the line there to finish off the qualifying. Sick as muck is invalidated, so that is qualifying done and dusted here in bronze. I think it is starting to rain as well. We have got some rain, so that might have affected a few drivers there on their final laps as well. That's what we might have seen, some problems there. Rain got me, says Dynamo Dan in the comment section. So yes, there is rain. There was rain anyway, affecting that final few laps there, or final few minutes there of qualifying in bronze season 5, round 23 here in Shanghai, China. Your pole sitter there is Speed Kai there in the Red Bull Irish New Potato with a fantastic lap time as well. Was just beaten to the post there by his teammate there. Front row there for Red Bull. Front row lockout, I should say, for Red Bull. Jinner there in P3 there with a good lap time indeed. Only a half a tenth behind pole position. TK there as well, just over half a tenth in P4. Good qualifier from him. Jake the Slayer in P5 as well. Dynamo down in P6. He needs to get himself up the order there. He needs to get himself past Jinner there to try and take the title fight to the next round, the final round of the season. Vess here in P7, J-Dog in P8, Sick as Muck in P9 and Kiki in P10. We'll run through the classification. That will show you the classification there for the drivers outside the top 10. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to get through all of them, I'm afraid. But so there we go. Then that is your qualifying for the Chinese Grand Prix. The race will be up in just a few seconds' time. Right then, nice and sunny it looks like here in Shanghai for the race now. Let's have a look and see if that's going to stay the same as well for the Grand Prix. Well, apparently it was nice and dry in qualifying as well, but it started to rain towards the end. So maybe the clouds will start to gather here over the circuit during the Grand Prix. We've got 28 laps around this very historic now circuit, but unfortunately it will not be on the calendar for ALR or for the actual F1 season. Well, it's already been passed at China, hasn't it, unfortunately, this season. Yeah, in real life that is, but unfortunately will not be on the calendar for ALR in the next season as well, season 9 of ALR. Blimey, it's been going for a long time, hasn't it? So yeah, hopefully we can get ourselves through season 9 as well. But there we go then, the grid is set. Will take us away now for the formation lap. P1 to P8 within 0.3. This will be a good race, says Brabbit as well. It looks like it indeed. The top 3, or top 4 I should say, was separated by was it 0.065 of a tenth. So it's even the top 3 just can show you that they can put top 4 I should say can put on a show in this Grand Prix. We'll see the likes potentially of Echo, Styles and Mushroom, who didn't get a lap time in, potentially get themselves through the order as well. Echo there from the back of the grid, starting on the hard compound tyres. We'll have to wait and see how he's going to fare in this one. Styles there on the hards as well in P19 for the Williams car. Serious Mushroom there in P18 on the medium compound tyres. Same for Kaz in P17. So those drivers there trying to get a bit of a faster start than those around them who are starting on the harder compound tyres. Vintage also on the hards in P16. So both the Williams there down the order, but starting on the hard compound tyres, looking to go long in the first stint. Winnie there on the medium compound tyres in P15 for the Ferrari team. Dukanko, Marvsky, Swanshanks and Luke just outside the top 10 from P14 to 11th on the hard compound tyres. So they're going to be going long as well to try and get themselves within the top 10 during the final stages of the Grand Prix. Kiki there in P10 on the hard compound tyres, I should say, in the McLaren. Same for Sicker's Muck in P9 and J-Dog in P8. So Vessia there as well on the hard compound tyres, as is Dynamo Dan, the title challenger. He's onto the hard compound tyres in P6 there. He's got to get himself ahead of Jinnah and at least finish ahead by 1 point. Try and take the title fight to the next round, I should say. Well, actually, no, he needs to do more than that, doesn't he? Because, of course, Jinnah there is 27 points ahead, so he needs to try and try and make sure that he can maximise his points and try and finish ahead of the Alpine as far as possible, of course. Not in terms of time, but in terms of places in this Grand Prix. Jake the Slayer there in P5, they're on the medium compound tyres, as is TK on the mediums in P4. So the Haas driver opting for the faster tyre for the start of this Grand Prix. Jinnah there in P3, they're the title leader currently by 27 points there on the hard compound tyres in P3, and the Red Bull lockouts at the top of the order on the front row. Irish New Potato on the medium compound tyres and Speed Kai there on the hards, of course. So good stuff indeed for the formation lap. Everyone's managed to get themselves round at least, and now we've got ourselves lined up on the grid there for the start of this Grand Prix. It's saying there a 2-stop possible, a soft, medium, or either the 1-stop of a medium to hard. So we'll have to wait and see who is going to do what there in this Grand Prix. It looks like, though, I would predict that the 1-stop strategy is probably the best strategy, as Speed Guy's got himself disqualified there on pole position, which is not good news there for the Red Bull driver. Nonetheless, we are ready to get ourselves underway, I think, here in China for the final time, like I said, on this game, and the final time for bronze as well. The 5 red lights are on here in China, and the 5 red lights are off as we get us... Oh, we do? We've got ourselves underway? No. Now we get ourselves underway, I think. Yeah, we got ourselves going now here in China, finally. Oh, a bit of a dodgy start there for New Potato. He's dropping down the order there as Jinnah and TK swamp him there into turn 1. Speed Kai keeps the lead as TK gets himself up into P2. Jake the Slayer up in P4 as New Potato is dropping down the order. He's had a horrible start there, has the Red Bull driver from P2 on the grid. He's dropped down to P5. Dynamo Dan battling away to keep hold of his P6 with Vessia going side by side as TK gets through. Jake the Slayer gets past his teammate there on the medium compound tyres. Irish New Potato now has struggled to get himself back underway, but has hung on to that P5 for the time being. Vessia has got past Dynamo Dan there. That is not what Dynamo Dan wants. He wants to be going forward rather than backwards. Luke has got dropped down the order there, going off the circuit there at the hairpin, and that is costing him back down to P10. He's trying to get himself around Kiki there as into sector 2 we go, side by side with his teammate the Mercedes. He's got himself past the McLaren and now battling Sicker's Muck further up the order, I should say. New Potato trying to get himself back past Jinnah now as well on the medium compound tyres, compared to those hard compound tyres, which of course take a bit longer to warm up and to get into the optimal phase. But there we go then. Jinnah there has got himself, he's lost out of place to his teammate there, of course, Jake the Slayer on the medium compound tyres compared to Jinnah on the hard compound tyres. But nonetheless, it seems to be all good and okay for the time being as they come round the spoon curve there. You can see the top 5 have already got, or top 6 I should say, have already got a massive gap there to the likes behind Dynamo Dan dropping back from Vessia. We've got Williams, I think, off the back. No, it's Echo off the back, isn't it? No, it's not. It's somebody else. It's Vintage. No, it's Styles off the back of the grid. Having an issue there through the spoon curve. He's got himself back underway finally, but unfortunate there for Styles there. TK putting the pressure on Speed Kai there in the Red Bull, I should say, but unfortunately going a bit wide there as we see an Alpine as well going very wide at the exit of the final turn. That is going to cost them a few warnings there if they keep doing that, as New Potato's trying to get himself back past Jinnah now. Jinnah dropping down to P5. This is what Dynamo Dan wants, but he wants to be further ahead as well. Echo and Dukanko switching places there into turn 1. Echo and Dukanko battling away, and now going to try and go down the inside. There is the Alfa Romeo there on the Aston Martin. It's going to be tight indeed. There's almost contact there, but they managed to avoid each other just about. The other Alfa Romeo there of Swanshanks is waiting in the wings. He's down 3 places, his Swanshanks, after a difficult start. Echo is up 6 places from the back of the grid. Here he comes now down towards the hairpin as well into sector 2, going down the inside again. Car number 95, there is contact there between the Aston Martin and the Alfa Romeo, but he's got himself through and up into P13 past the Aston Martin. Now he's under pressure as well as Dukanko from his the other Alfa Romeo of Swanshanks. Pressure all along as Dynamo Dan is dropping down the order. He's had a problem there in the Ferrari. Is there damage as well? There's damage to the right end plate, and I think as it stands, that is the championship wrapped up there for Jinnah, as Dynamo Dan is currently not scoring any points. Of course, there is only there's plenty of laps to go still in this Grand Prix. There could be more another safety car, or there could be other issues there for drivers around. So it's not all done and dusted just yet. TK there is clinging onto the back there of the Red Bull Speed Kai for the time being as well. Jake the Slayer there in P3. New Potato there is trying to get himself back up into the into P2 where he was off the grid, but after that difficult start there, has managed to recover himself back after dropping down to P6. Then he's got himself back to P4 so far. Versier they're doing a good job of clinging on to the back there of the top 5 as well, pulling himself along now as DRS is now enabled there as we begin lap 3, as Jake the Slayer sets the fastest lap of the race so far. Sigurdsson up there in P7, got 2.7 second gap now to the top 6 there. This might be starting to form a bit of a bottleneck as Dynamo Dan is in the pit lane. He's had to call it a day already on that on those hard compound tyres. He can go to probably medium to the end of the Grand Prix from here, but he will need a safety car to bring him back into contention, I think, in this Grand Prix. It couldn't have gone worse so far for Dynamo Dan there in the fight for the championship. He's now in P2, of course. In P20 as he drops down the back of the field with that wing change as well on the Ferrari, which is a big shame, but let's have a look and see what he can do as he tries to get himself back in this Grand Prix. Jenner has dropped off the back there of the top 4 now as well. This could be opening the door for Versier to try and get himself through as well. Versier with a good start there, consistent start indeed there for the AlphaTauri driver, is now trying to put the pressure on the Alpine. The current championship leader is under pressure there from the AlphaTauri as he's lost out that 1 second window now of the golden 1 second window, I should say, of the DRS range, and now the AlphaTauri coming around the spoon curve of sector 3. Can he put the pressure on the Alpine a bit more? Can he put the move on the Alpine and get himself over into P5 there? He's got to try and get in the slipstream there. DRS now available as we go powering down the back straight there. Jake the Slayer and New Potato switching places. New Potato back up into P3 as he down the inside. He goes on the Alpine driver down the back of the order. Versier can't make a move yet on Jenner there. He didn't have the straight line speed. Here comes not New Potato. It's Jake the Slayer back at New Potato as he's got himself back past the Red Bull driver on the exit. The hairpin there must have been a horrible exit there for the Red Bull driver, unfortunately. Here comes New Potato back down. They've both got DRS as well. They go down towards turn 1 and up into turn 1. Down the inside goes the Red Bull driver on board with the Alpine for the time being as they are slotting into the order once again. Serious Mushroom gets himself past Kaz as we start off lap 4. J-Dog has got himself the fastest lap of the race so far, but unfortunately he's had a problem there as J-Dog didn't see what happened to the McLaren driver potentially off the start, but thankfully he's got himself back underway, and of course that fastest lap indicates the pace that is in that McLaren, and the McLaren driver has got that pace to show that he can get himself back in the race as well potentially. New Potato there up into P3 and now trying to get himself back after TK. Can he get himself back into the top 2 position where he of course started the Grand Prix, and at the moment it is looking good there, a good recovery so far as always. He's going squirrely there on the exit of turn 2, the sector 2 I should say. He managed to get himself pointing in the right direction there, recovering the car very quickly indeed, but that is not exactly what you want to be doing there. Of course that overheats the tyres there and increases the tyre wear as well, and on the medium compound tyres he wants to at least get them to roughly around lap 10 to 12 I would say for the optimal pit stop lap in my personal opinion. But what do I know, as we've got yellow flags in the background. Yellow flags is not for Dynamo Dan, it's for a spinning Hungry Styles there as he's off the circuit. Kanko's off the circuit at the beginning of sector 3 as well, trying to reverse that Aston Martin, and he's got himself back underway, has he? Taking a bit of a while there for the Aston to get himself going, as he has finally got himself started again, but Styles there has got himself back on track as well. Oh, they almost came together there as they were trying to get themselves sorted. New Potato sets the fastest lap of the race. That is just showing the recovery that is going very well indeed for that Red Bull driver at this stage of the Grand Prix. After that difficult start there, he's gone purple of course in lap 4. Which is very promising indeed, and that's of course they've joined up to the back now of the queue behind Speed Kai. These 2 runners, of course TK and Irish New Potato and Jake the Slayer as well, on the medium compound tyres, so they are going to be going a lot faster, or would expect to be going a lot faster at this stage of the Grand Prix compared to those on the hard compound tyres. The hards I think now would have warmed up there into the optimal phase to now be probably just as good, if not a bit better than the medium compound tyres at this stage of the Grand Prix. Good stuff indeed. Dynamo Dan sets the fastest lap of the race. That is, of course, another point for Dynamo Dan, which is promising, but unfortunately the other issue that he's got is that he's down in P20 for the time being after making that unscheduled stop. Swanshank has had a problem there in sector 2. He's off the circuit there in the Alfa Romeo. He's putting the pressure there on his I think it was his teammate he was battling with, but unfortunately he's dropped down the order behind J-Dog now as well, and I think Vintage is going to come through as well, but Swanshank needs to get himself back underway. He has done now, but unfortunately there for the Alfa Romeo there, he's been caught by the curbs once again in sector 2. We've seen a few drivers there already having their issues. Here comes TK down the down the inside, I should say now, of the Red Bull speed car, but before the braking zone. Always a contact almost there between the Red Bull and the rear diffuser there of that Haas. Again, on the traction there, speed car's got a lot more grip indeed than the Haas as well. It looks like he almost went to the back of the Haas as well on the traction on the exit, but now he can have DRS down the main straight. We've got Kiki off the circuit. Let's have a look and see what's happened to Kiki. Kiki's had a problem there at the exit of the hairpin as well. He's got himself back around, and he's spinning the car around, and that is just overheating the tyres more and more, unfortunately, for Kiki. So I'm not sure what he's doing there. Unfortunately for him, he's having a bit of a problem. Luke has got himself past his teammate of Sikkersmark, I should say, up into P7. Now goes the reserve appearance, reserve driver, I should say, on his reserve appearance there in the Mercedes tonight. Both the Mercedes on the hard compound tyres, as I think Kiki's really struggling to get himself sorted again. He's got himself back underway now, thankfully, and he just needs to. I think he's overheated those tyres now by quite a long way there after spinning the car around quite excessively. Here comes Dynamo down there trying to chase down Decanco up in the order. We've got TK, and what's happened here? TK's off the circuit, and I think New Potatoes are almost caught up in the back of that as well. He got himself past TK. TK's now had a spin there in sector 2 as well. We saw Swanshanks have an issue there as well on the last lap, and I think TK has had the same issue as Winnie has got past there for P8, and in the Ferrari there he's got himself passed up into P8 there as well. TK there dropping down the order. Has he got any damage there? He's got himself, no, it doesn't look like it. It's good to go for the Haas car, but he's dropped himself all the way down from P2 it was actually. He was under pressure from New Potato, but it was P2, but he's down to P9 unfortunately for TK, and that is exactly what we were saying earlier on in the qualifying, that he just needs to try and replicate the qualifying pace in the race itself as well. And the consistency there as well. Vessier's getting himself past Ginner now. Vessier up into P3 after that mistake there for TK. It's promoted a few drivers up the order, of course. New Potato's trying to cling on to the back of his teammate now as well, as here he goes there onto the main straight. And there we go, both the Red Bulls. It's quite realistic of real life there, isn't it? As both the Red Bulls there in P1 and P2, and they've got a bit of clear air as well behind Tavesio. 1.8 seconds there. I'm not sure if Ginner was maybe unsettled by TK going off the circuit, and that cost him a bit of time there, and that's lost him out to the top two, to the Red Bulls, that is, because of course he was in the train behind TK, behind New Potato as well. And now Vessier has got himself ahead down the back straight on the last lap as well. So that is Vessier up into P3, up onto the podium there for the AlphaTauri. He's going very deep there into the hairpin, and that is opening the door there potentially for the Alpines to come back. Jake the Slayer there has stayed the same as where he started there, P5. He was up into P3 at one point as well, but has had an issue there, I think, as well throughout the first few laps, and has dropped back. We're a quarter of the way through the Grand Prix. Luke there in P6 there. He's got himself up 5 places as Luke, which is good stuff indeed there. He's trying to get himself further up the order, of course, on those hard compound tyres. The medium runners will seem to be pitting as well, I would expect. But at the moment, Luke there doing a great job indeed in the Mercedes there, trying to get himself further up the order as well. But like I said, the hard compound runners will switch over to the hards as well. Switch over to the tyre compounds now, so we can see what tyres everybody is using here in this bronze Grand Prix around China. And there we go, quite a mixture there of the hards and the mediums as well. Dynamo Dan got himself past Decanco there into P19, but it's still a battle there trying to get himself through the order. Like I said, it's not going to be easy there for Dynamo Dan to try and continue this title fight. It could be going into Ginner's way as well, as Sirius Russian gets himself down the inside there of Echo into the hairpin. But the switch back there from the Alfa Romeo driver, is he going to have the traction there to hold on to it? He has got the traction to hold on to it, and a very nice switch back indeed there from the Alfa Romeo driver to get back that P11 spot and try and get himself after the top 10 as well. TK getting past Winnie there around the outside of the on the main straight up into turn 1. He's got the move up into P8 there as well. Has the Haas driver. Can Winnie come back at him though? Down the inside, it's going to be close indeed, and TK there just keeps hold of that position for the time being. Winnie, of course, if he can stick close indeed, he can have the DRS as well later on, as Hungry Styles has had an issue there at the hairpin. He's off the circuit and he's had a spin. Unfortunately for Styles there, he's got himself back underway and he's going around the final corner now. Very nice shot indeed, actually. The front wing on board for the Williams there, but unfortunately not where Styles wants to be at this stage of the Grand Prix. He wants to be a lot further up the order, as now Dynamo Dan putting the pressure on Kiki for the lower places, unfortunately, at this stage of the Grand Prix. Of course, there is still potential for some incidents to occur, some safety cars to appear, and potentially the order to be rejigged as well because of that, so there's still some action to unfold, I'd imagine. The New Potato there is dropping off the back of his teammate. He's now over 1 second, which is not where he wants to be. He wants to be within that 1 second window so that he can use the DRS to pull himself along there. The medium compound tyres might just be failing there on that Red Bull there, or starting to get towards the end of their lifespan, I should say, as into the hairpin we go for the race leader there. He's led from pole position so far all the way to the end of lap 8. And looking good indeed there for Speed Car as well. New Potato there just trying to cling onto the back there, and I think he's going to have DRS now down the main straight, which is good news for him. Vesio is now 3.6 seconds behind the top two, I should say. And that is looking good indeed so far for the Red Bull drivers, as yellow flags once again in sector 3. I think it's Kiki there. Kiki's had an issue there at the exit of the spoon curve, and he's got himself back underway, thankfully. But unfortunately, that's Kiki not having a good race so far. The same for the likes of Dynamo Dan, who's trying to get himself back in the race there after a wing change from a spin in sector 2 there on the second lap of the Grand Prix. I think it was quite a while ago now, but unfortunately he's trying to recover that. He's doing a good job there of getting those lap times in. He is bringing the gaps down there to the drivers ahead as well, so it's not all done and dusted just yet. I think he could potentially get himself back in the points paying positions as well. We'll have to wait and see. This Red Bull dominance is, like I said, very, very realistic indeed. We're not on realistic performance, but it looks like it from these two. They've done a great job so far of controlling the pace of the race. Speed Car, they're bringing his teammate along there with some DRS assistance as well, I think, and he's really putting the Red Bulls in a great spot indeed to maximise some great points. I think. Oh, what's happened there? I think that was. Fingers crossed that was me and not the lobby, but. Yeah, oh, what's going on here? There is some issues going on here. I'm not quite sure if it's just me. Hopefully it is just me. Fingers crossed it is anyway. But yeah, like I was saying, there's some sort of issues going on with the lobby potentially. But maybe it's just, hopefully it's not New Potato either. Hopefully he can crack on his race. He's done a great job there. He does deserve, of course, maybe the podium, or definitely potentially the win as well. But hopefully it's just my issues and it's not New Potato's issues, because fingers crossed he doesn't have any connection problems as well and can get himself back in this, will keep himself going in this race. At the moment it seems like it's okay, but both the Red Bulls there are challenging each other. It looks like they're very much a Perez and Verstappen type scenario here, as Echo and Sirius Rushman, their battle keeps on going as into turn 1 and 2 we go, as Sirius Rushman now ahead there of the Alfa Romeo. Is he has got the move done there. Into the pits goes Kaz. He's the first to call it a day there on the medium compound tyres after doing the first 10 laps there on the mediums. He's decided to come into the pit lane and switch onto the hard compound tyres there. The hards probably can go to the end of the race from here, as Kiki gets himself past the Williams of Hungry Styles there. Out of the pit lane comes Kaz. Is he going to be ahead there of the battling two behind? Kiki is very close indeed behind, and here you can see Kaz there exiting the pit lane. Kiki's going to be all over the back of the Aston Martin, as the warm-up there for the Aston Martin on those hard compound tyres is going to be very difficult, I would say, compared to the fresher, well not the fresher, but the nicer warmed-up tyres there for the McLaren of Kiki, getting himself past the Aston Martin there into Sector 2. We will end Sector 1 now, into Sector 2 we go down into the hairpin there. Of course Kaz there trying to get those hard compound tyres warmed up, and that is the problems that he's facing right now, but he's now dropping down behind the McLaren for the time being. Out in the front, then the Red Bull's still right together. Jenner gets himself back past the AlphaTauri, does he, down into the inside there of the hairpin. Has he got the move done? He's got the move done, I think, so far. On the traction, though, Conversia fight back. It's close indeed, but I think Jenner there has got that P3 position there, and that is Jenner back up into the points there. Unfortunately, Vessia going very wide there. That might be a warning there from the game, but now can he fight back down the main straight? We'll have him right on board there. Jenner's not got much ELRS to play with there, but into turn 1, there's no moves being made, as Vintage and Swanshank switching places as well into the hairpin. Swanshank's getting himself past the Williams there with the aid of DRS as well. Winnie and Marvsky now switching places as well into turn 1. Going around the outside there is the Ferrari. Can he hold that position though? It's going to be close indeed. I think Marvsky there on the hard compound tyres. No, he has got himself through there as Marvsky. The hard compound tyres now phased in, and the medium's probably getting worse for wear indeed at this stage of the Grand Prix. They've done 10 laps. This is the 11th lap there for the medium runners, as yellow flags again for Williams of Styles at the hairpin. Unfortunately, Styles they're having a horrible time at this stage of the Grand Prix, which is not looking good for himself and the Williams driver. Williams team as well. But New Potato, one team having troubles there in Williams, but New Potato and the Red Bull team are absolutely flying indeed. They've got a 5.3 second gap there to P3 as it stands at the moment, that is, and it's looking good for the Red Bull outfit at this stage, as they've got another problem there for Kiki off the circuit there at the exit. How's he done that? He's off the exit of turn 3, I think, and he's reversed himself into the wall there. Thankfully no rear wing damage there in bronze, but Yeah, luckily he's got himself back in the way, but he's dropped down to the back there. Has Kiki not having a great time there, unfortunately, at this event so far. Dynamo Dan's got the gap down to finish to 10 seconds. It was at over 13 seconds, wasn't it, previously? So he's bringing that gap down as close as much as he can. Here comes Winnie now on the inside of Marvsky into the hairpin. Can Marvsky hold it around the outside again? There's contact there, but from Winnie there pushing the AlphaTauri wide. Sirius Rushman's going to get interested in this as well, I think, as he goes into the final corner. Marvsky over the curve there. You can see the car jump up in the air almost as he goes through that final corner there. But Winnie holds onto the place there. Might have pushed the AlphaTauri a little bit wide there as well, which is a bit of a shame. But nonetheless, it is. I think he was trying to get himself trying to negotiate himself out of the corner there on the traction without spinning the car as well on those old medium compound tyres, and also trying to avoid Sirius Rushman, who was waiting in the wings as well. Echo's got himself in this battle too. This is the battle from P9 as we've got yellow flags again for Styles, I think, at the exit of the spoon curve, the final spoon curve in sector 3. But like I said, all these drivers, they're queuing up behind Winnie now, who is on the medium compound tyres, and I think these medium compound tyres now are at the on the last legs there of their life. I would say their final the final stages of the stint. I would say for the medium compound tyres, we've seen New Potato there is struggling now to try and keep up with his teammate as well further up the order. So I think that's where we're at. That's where the medium compound tyres are at now. They're having the issues there. As here comes Sirius Mushroom. They're almost pushing Marvsky through sector 2 there in the Haas, but he's managed to avoid the back of that AlphaTauri for the time being, and now into sector 3 we go for the final time, well, not the final time there, for the 12th time I should say, as Marvsky going to go down the inside there of Winnie there through the spoon curve. That is one hell of a move if you can hold that on, but not quite. Unfortunately, he's going to have to sit in behind, but of course now we'll have the DRS down the back straight on the Ferrari as well. Here he comes there, he's got himself through. Here comes Sirius Rushman as well. Sirius Rushman, can he make a double overtake here? Can he go down the inside of Marvsky into the hairpin? No, not quite, I don't think. He's going to try and stick his nose in there anyway. And now Winnie there's had to try and avoid the Haas as well. Echoes into the fray as well. New Potato is in the pit, so is Jake the Slayer. Any of the other drivers going to come in the pit lane. Marvsky carries on. Sirius Mushroom is in the pit lane, as is Winnie. And Winnie, they're dropping down the order behind the Haas as well. Of course, it was almost a double overtake there from Sirius Mushroom. As into the pits come some of the drivers there who started on the medium compound tyres. TK carries on. Same for Dynamo Dan as well. Well, Dynamo Dan, I imagine, will carry on anyway. Of course, having pit from the hard compound tyres to the mediums, he will have to pit again, and will he go? He'll probably go onto the medium compound tyres once again as well. New Potato comes out in P10, so he's still in the points. There is the second of the Red Bulls. So looking good indeed there for Irish New Potato after a difficult start. Like I was saying, he dropped down from P2 to P5 within the space of a couple of corners. The first couple of corners there on lap 1, he got himself back. He battled back. He got himself back within DRS there of his teammate Speed, who led from pole position, and really tried to pull himself along there on the medium compound tyres as much as he could there. And now looking good indeed onto the hard compound tyres, the first of the scheduled stops. Unfortunately, Dynamo Dan has made a stop as well, but that was not a scheduled stop there for the Ferrari driver. But there we go then. New Potato now getting himself back underway. Swanshanks is right behind Jake the Slayer. Of course, Jake the Slayer has made a stop as well. He's 4.8 seconds behind the Red Bull driver. Will this undercut play into their favour, or will the overcut be the best strategy here in the Chinese Grand Prix? We'll have to wait and see. Of course, some drivers there on the hard compound tyres will be looking to go another few more laps or so before they start to make their pit stops. Echo and Marvsky switching places there as they go down the back straight. Echo now up into P7 there after the stops for the medium runners who are in this battle as well. The likes of Sirius Mushroom, the likes of Winnie, and I think there was somebody else as well, but unfortunately I've forgotten who that is. Sorry about that. Sorry. TK there into the pit lane there. He's done 13 laps there on the medium compound tyres, just slowing down there before the pit entry, and now he trundles down the pit lane. Where is he going to come out? Of course, he was down into P9 there after his spin. He did try and battle back as Jake the Slayer gets a 3-second penalty there, going wide there at the exit of the final turn. That's the first 3-second penalty there of the evening. TK coming out of the pit lane now. He's going to be ahead, I think, of Dynamo Dan, who is just, of course, cruising his way down the main straight. And but like I said, Dynamo Dan, I think, will have to make a stop very soon as well in the next couple of laps or so. He can probably eke the stint out now to around lap 16 or 17 or so, and then go on to medium compound tyres again to the end of the Grand Prix. We'll have to wait and see. TK, of course, has to get those tyres warmed up as quickly as possible, but he doesn't want to get himself caught up in a battle here with Dynamo Dan, because he doesn't want to be having to fight the Ferrari there on much older medium compound tyres that probably will be starting to hold him up rather than help him, unfortunately, later on in this Grand Prix. Here comes New Potato. There is the... Oh, he's gone for a spin, unfortunately. I was just about to say it was looking good. He was going to get himself potentially in the DRS range there of the McLaren of J-Dog, and now he's gone for a spin, and that has lost him out to Jake the Slayer and Swanshanks and Vintage as well. Yellow flag somewhere else as well, I think, but he's got himself back underway, thankfully for New Potato. But that is, I think, going to cost him potentially a podium here as well in China, because it was very close between himself there and Jinner and Vessier as well. And that is not good news. That is not what he wanted in the Red Bull. Unfortunately, he's dropped down the order there. He's out of DRS range as well of the Williams of Vintage. That is going to help not help his problem even worse, or make his problem even worse. I should say. Kiki's off the circuit at the back of the grid as well. Him and Styles there seem to be having their issues there throughout this Grand Prix. Unfortunately for them, Jinner there is now 9 seconds behind the race leader as Swanshanks is in the pit lane. That's a very early stop indeed there for Swanshanks there. If he's going on the medium compound tyres, we'll have to wait and see. TK is in P13 there. He's going to get himself past the Alfa Romeos in the pits. Same for Dynamo Dan as well. He carries on. Serious Mushroom's going to trundle down the pit lane as well. No, sorry, trundle down the main straight, I should say, because he's made his stop already, hasn't he? Serious Mushroom there. Got another car number 2 as out comes Swanshanks there onto medium compound tyres. So can the mediums get themselves to the end of the Grand Prix from here? It would be, I think it's possible. We'll have to wait and see, as Vintage has been passed there by New Potato there into the hairpin there of Sector 2, up into P10, back into the points there is the Red Bull driver, but unfortunately, like I said, he's lost about 8 seconds now in that battle there after that spin as well. J-Dog, he was almost a second behind J-Dog, wasn't he? He's now just over 8 seconds behind the McLaren as well now, which is a big shame indeed, because that is where he was looking to be potentially on for a podium, potentially on for even a win if the strategy went his way as well. Of course, Speedcar would be going from the hard compound tyres potentially to the medium compound tyres, as Kiki picks up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Unfortunately with Kiki, I think that's his race done and dusted, as he has pit and quit in the pit lane there. And that is, unfortunately for Kiki, his race done and dusted in China there. The only retirement so far, which is a bit of a shame to see, because obviously we don't want any retirements in the Grand Prix, as Luke is into the pits as well. So now Swanshanks' stop, I think, from the hard compound tyres to the mediums, as Echo's in the pits also has had a problem there, I think, through the entry. As Kiki's left the session there as well. Unfortunately for Kiki, that is the only retirement so far in this Grand Prix. J-Dog carries on. Luke coming down the pit lane. Kiki's car is going to block the pit lane, and that is exactly why pitting and quitting is just a huge problem, really, to be honest. Finally it goes away, but that has really ruined Luke and Echo's stops as well, and that is a massive issue there from the McLaren that has caused that issue as well, which is a big shame indeed. Luke carries on though, thankfully. Hopefully it didn't hold up Echo too much there. Dynamo Dan is in the pits, but he hasn't been held up by that McLaren. But that is exactly why you don't want to do pitting and quitting, because it just ruins people's races with that sort of situation there, which is a big shame indeed there. We just saw the McLaren there of Kiki blocking the pit lane there with his it wasn't him himself, obviously, it was his ghost car after he retired and left the session. But that is a big shame indeed, because it really has impacted Luke and Echo's races as well. But nonetheless, we'll have to crack on with what we've got, and maybe we can have a look at that after the race. But that will be the admin's decision, and the admin's problem rather than me. I don't have to worry about it. I just have to commentate on it for the time being. Kaz has got himself back within range of Swanshanks. Of course, Swanshanks now switching onto the medium compound tyres. It's going to be a bit faster, I think, at this stage. Echo's got himself underway as well, and Winnie is in between the new drivers there on the medium compound tyres. Into the pits comes Jinner from P2 and Vessier as well from P3. Let's have a look and see what's going to be the strategies here as well. Sick as Luck follows them in. Marvski's coming in as well. That's going to be a problem behind his teammate. He's going to come in behind Vessier here, and that is probably not good communication there from the AlphaTauri mechanics or the AlphaTauri pit wall. Because that is going to be a double stack there, and I think it might be okay. We'll have to wait and see. Let's have a look and see if what the strat is going to be like. Yeah, he's been held up a bit there, has Marvski, which is not good news there. Vessier's out behind Irish New Potato there. New Potato in P4 there. Of course, he did have that spin, didn't he, New Potato? So that has lost him out 8 seconds or so. That he could have been further up the order there. He could have been ahead of Jinner, and unfortunately, it's cost him massively. Has for New Potato on, which is a big shame indeed. TK's got himself back up into 6th place. Sick as Muck, they're back out in P7 there on the medium compound tyres. That is looking good indeed for the Mercedes driver, and that could potentially mean that he can get himself within range of a podium place in this Grand Prix. We'll have to wait and see. Now that the pit stops have all been done, apart from one, Oh no, apart from 3, there's a speed car at the top of the field, and unfortunately we're still waiting for, as Winnie's off the circuit there, we're still waiting for Styles and Ducanco to make their stops as well, so they'll have to make their stops at a later date, but at the moment, 32-second gap there, as we've got a problem there. I think it's not for Kaz, it's for Ducanco as well. Ducanco's had an issue there at the exit of turn 2, and he's got himself back underway there. Styles in the pit lane as well. So he has got himself going. Once again, Jinner takes the title if not much changes. Jinner has got a 27-point gap before this race. So he's got a 27-point gap there to Dynamo Dan. As it stands, he has got another 18 points under his belt. So he will be finishing as Dynamo Dan has not got... Has he got the fastest lap? He has got the fastest lap so far. So technically Dynamo Dan has got 1 point in this Grand Prix at the moment. Jinner, of course, has got 18 points, so the title is well and truly wrapped up. As here comes Echo past Marvsky, and there's another car there. It's Marvsky and J-Dog, I think it is. No, has he got himself through? No, he's not quite got himself through there. Marvsky holds on to P11. He's got the inside now for the final turn. You don't want to cut across there. That can cause an issue. Marvsky goes wide there at the exit of the final turn, but thankfully everyone through unscathed, and Echo up into P11 now, chasing down J-Dog for the final points pen position in this Chinese Grand Prix, lap 18 of 28. We've only got 10.5 laps to go now in this one. So like I was saying, currently as Dynamo Dan sets the fastest lap of the race once again. But like I said, currently it is Jinner who's winning the title here in the Chinese Grand Prix with 1 to spare. He's going to be winning it by quite a margin as well, because like I said, it was 27 points going into this Grand Prix with 2 races remaining. And he is now on course for 18 more points there in the Alpine as well, which would extend his gap, if I'm correct, to 44 points, I believe. Speed car picks up a 30-second penalty. That is not good news there for the Red Bull driver. He was having quite a comfortable race out in the lead of this Grand Prix, but that 3-second penalty might hamper that slightly. I think he will still come out potentially ahead of Jinner. Jinner coming down towards the hairpin now, and when he picks up another penalty as well, unfortunately the penalty is starting to roll in now here in bronze. But I think speed there he's going down the pit lane now. He's already had that stop there onto medium compact tyres. I think he will still come out in the lead of this Grand Prix. Jinner there going around the final corner, and yes, he is going to come out ahead of the Alpine driver. So yeah, Jinner sets the fastest lap of the race. That is now 19 points to Jinner's name. As it looks like the 2 championship protagonists now are just battling for the fastest lap. They don't really need to worry about the points pay positions, really, do they? Because they just want to worry about that extra point for the fastest lap point. But at the moment, it's a fight between Vintage and Dynamo Dan. There is into the hairpin we go, and Dynamo Dan just slowing down on the apex there to make sure that Vintage can cut back underneath the Ferrari there, and up into P16 goes Dynamo Dan there. He's not too far off the points pay positions as well, with the penalties as well that are for the drivers ahead of him. He's not too far away there from the points, but unfortunately I think the championship there does get concluded there, does get wrapped up there tonight if Jinner can just hold on to or just stay in the points really at this stage of the Grand Prix there for the Alpine driver. He's had a great season indeed. He's had a bit of a comeback in the latter half of the season, or latter part of the season as well, as the blue flags are being waved I think for Styles now going through sector 3, but like I was saying, he's had a bit of a comeback there. Of course, Dynamo Dan did lead the way into, I think it was into Mexico, wasn't it? I think that's where it sort of turned around there for Jinner, and now it's Jinner there leading the way there in the championship, looking good indeed to claim the victory here in China as well. The DRS range of the other Alpine there, his rival now of Jake the Slayer now around the outside, I should say, into the hairpin as Styles picks up a 3-second penalty. Unfortunately for Styles, they're not having a good time there as well. Now into the final turn. Vessier is interested in this battle as well, of course, on the medium compact tyres, Vessier, so will be a lot faster at this stage than those on the hard compact tyres, those 2 ahead of him, that is, as here comes New Potato now down the main straight, I should say, in towards turn 1. No moves being made. They have to stick with where they are for the time being. But can Vessier trying to hold himself and take another line round these complex of corners to try and get himself through the order up into P4. It looks like Vessier there is on charge for a good result here, potentially a podium as well. He can get himself past these 2 hard runners, and that is looking good indeed there for the AlphaTauri. Can he go down the inside there in the hairpin? It's close indeed. The door's been left open by New Potato, and I think he's got the move done as well. Vessier up into P4 with a great move indeed, opportunistic for the AlphaTauri, and he's got the position up into P4. Echo's had a problem there. I think Echo's off the circuit, at Sector 2. No, he's Sector 1 it is. Unfortunately, Recco has dropped down behind Winnie as well. He's had a problem there, had a bit of a spin there on the exit of turn 2 and got himself back underway, thankfully. Vessier now within DRS range of Jake the Slayer on those medium compound tyres as well. It is looking great indeed for Vessier at this stage for a podium, and that'll be great news indeed for his first podium there of the season for the AlphaTauri, and looking great indeed if he can hold on to that position as well. He needs to get himself past Jake the Slayer, but of course technically he doesn't need to get himself past Jake the Slayer. Of course, the penalty situation for the Alpine ahead will mean that he is demoted down the order once the checkered flag does fall. But DRS so powerful down this back straight. He's got himself alongside, he's got himself ahead of the Alpine there into the hairpin we go. Speed Kai sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as Jake the Slayer and Vessier switching places again. But Vessier now takes P3 with a great move indeed there ahead of the Alpine up into the podium places now for the AlphaTauri. Now he needs to make sure he just gets himself away as far away as possible there from the Alpine and the Red Bull and let them have their own fight and hold each other up there later on in this Grand Prix. 21 laps done and dusted now in this Grand Prix as well. Echo and Winnie switching places there into the hairpin, and there's another Alfa Romeo. Well, he's in an Alfa Romeo sandwich now, is Winnie, unfortunately, but probably not where he wanted to be. He's off the circuit goes Echo at the final corner there. He's spun it around, but he's spun it around very quickly indeed, actually, is Echo, so he's got himself back underway very quickly as well. Dynamo down there in the background now in P15 can sense the vulnerability there of the Alfa Romeo team and Winnie, his teammate as well, I'd imagine, to try and get himself further up the order there and towards the points paying positions in this one as well. Dynamo down there is looking to recover in this Grand Prix, but it's not been one to remember for the Ferrari rider. This is where it looks like the championship has been wrapped up there for Jeddah as it stands. I don't want to jinx it, because if I do jinx it, then it's going to be a calamity, really, isn't it? And I don't want to be the commentator that cursed the championship in bronze. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We'll wait to the final lap. We'll wait to the final corner, I think, for Jeddah, just to make sure he can crawl across the line if anything bad does happen as well. He's got a 10-second gap there to the lead of the Grand Prix as it stands there, but he's got himself now a 4-second gap over Vessier, as Vessier is stuck behind these two, Jake the Slayer and Irish Potato. They're staying within the DRS range for the time being of the AlphaTauri, which is not what Vessier wants, of course. He wants to get himself over that 1-second gap there and just cruise away there from the drivers behind. Yellow flag for Williams. It is for Styles there on the final corner, having issues there as the top three, or the top third, fourth and fifth go past him down the main straight. TK got himself past Luke for P7 as it stands, and now trying to chase down. He's going to have a battle with Luke still, I think, because Luke's coming back at him now down the main straight with DRS into turn 1 we go. It's going to be close indeed between the two of them, and Luke has swooped down the inside, but now the switch back there from TK as Styles there gets a 5-second of the corner cutting somewhere, but nonetheless, as TK they're trying to get himself back past and back through, but Luke holds the P7 for the time being there on the medium compound tyres. Swanshanks and Winnie switching places as well into turn 1 as well, around the outside I should say, goes at the Alfa Romeo, and now trying to hold the outside as well for the next left turn there of turn 2. He's got the move done, he's up into P12 now for the Alfa Romeo driver. Good stuff indeed. Echo trying to get back as well as Styles, I think, is it vintage now, maybe vintage. Oh, no, hopefully it's only just the one Williams. Styles there off the circuit there in sector 2 there, just getting out the way there of the drivers there. The blue flags are being waved there at the Williams driver, I think, and that is why he's off the circuit trying to get out of the way there of those drivers. The yellow flags for somebody. It's a Red Bull, and it's New Potato. New Potato's had a problem there at sector 3 as well, I should say, beginning of sector 3, and again it's not going well for New Potato. He's off the circuit, he's down to P7 there. TK might be able to get himself through as well, potentially, which is it's just not going well for New Potato. We started with P2 on the grid, and it's just really he's having so much difficulties in this Grand Prix. That's 2 spins there that cost him massively, unfortunately, for the Red Bull driver, but he's still within the points paying positions and potentially can get himself ahead there of Luke with the penalty situation there for the Mercedes driver, and that is it's not all doom and gloom just yet there, because you can still get some points for himself and the Red Bull team. Styles there picks up another penalty there for corner cutting. Probably just trying to get himself disqualified, it looks like, at this stage. But yeah, Vintage there getting himself past Kaz there for P16 as well. Vintage and Kaz there going to have their battle there for the rest of this Grand Prix. Styles there picks up another penalty, and I think, nope, it's a yellow flag for somebody else there. It wasn't Styles this time. Not quite sure who it was. It was very quick, and it's been cleared up very quickly, whatever the issue was. Now here we go then, back with New Potato there. There's a battle going on here for the lower half of the points, I should say, because it's from 6th there for Luke all the way down now to P10 basically. for J-Dog as well. These drivers there battling away from P6 down to P10 for the points pen, or the lower points pen positions. Yellow flag again for for Hungry Stars. They're off the circuit once again. They're in sector 2, but thankfully getting himself out of the way there of the drivers flying through. Here comes New Potato trying to fly back through past Luke there. Yellow flags again there for Styles there. He needs to stop causing the yellow flags, because that is it's impacting the drivers as well, I'd imagine there, because every time the yellow flags pop up, of course it pops up on their track maps and everything like that as well. But thankfully it has gone back away. New Potato has got the DRS, I think. Yeah, he has got the DRS there down the back straight, but he's almost out of that 1 second window of the Mercedes ahead. Trying to pull out the slipstream there is Luke. Into the hairpin we go there. He's got the DRS now on his teammate Stickers Muck there to try and pull himself along in this Grand Prix. I think Stickers Muck might have had the issue because as we got another issue for in sector 3, it's Echo down the order at the exit of the spoon curve. Unfortunately for Echo, he's having a horrible time now. He's Echo in this Grand Prix. He's got himself back underway though, as Luke now getting himself past Stickers Muck there, up past his teammate now, as they try and get themselves ahead of the Red Bull drivers, the Haas drivers as well, who are challenging there for the points as well later on the final stages of this Grand Prix. But out in front, I was going to go back to this because we've got a 14-second gap now for Speed Kai, who is leading the way very comfortably indeed so far in the Red Bull on lap 24 of 28. We've got 5 laps to go. Or 4 laps to go when we finish this one, and like I said, it's been one hell of a Grand Prix indeed for Speed Kai. He's a very quick customer indeed, but Jenner there has Jenner there going out of sector 2 there. It looks like he was almost trying to slide his way out that corner, but thankfully keeping it pointed in the right direction, or just about, and looking to wrap up P2 and wrap up the championship as well there for Jenner with a fantastic drive. Like I was saying, he's just kept it calm and consistent there, has Jenner, and he was saying to me the other day that he's improved a lot this season throughout the second half of the season as well, because of the 100% races as well that he's been doing on the Wednesdays, because it's basically just conditioned him to try and keep it calm, keep it consistent, and not push too hard, and just make sure that he makes the right decision at the right time. Speaking of right decisions at the right time, Jake the Slayer there just looking to try and make a move there for P3 on Vessier, but biding his time on this occasion there to wait for another opportunity. J-Dog getting himself past Sirius Russian there for P9 there, up into P9 for the McLaren, but can Sirius Russian make the switch back into the final corner? No, not quite. He stays P10 for the time being. Yellow flags down the order as Vintage has got himself past Dynamo Dan. Dynamo Dan's gone off the circuit as TK picks up a penalty. That is bad news for TK. That could put him under pressure now from J-Dog and his teammate Sirius Mushroom, but Dynamo Dan off the circuit at the spoon curve. He's got himself back underway. He's almost in the back of Vintage there at the hairpin there. It's a very heavy braking zone as Swanshanks, as Winnie's back in the pit lane. And that is that then. So unfortunately for Winnie there, he's decided to come into the pit lane there for the Ferrari driver. Not quite sure why, as Dynamo Dan there is under pressure as well. Dylan has said that Vessier is under pressure with fuel. Let's have a look at the fuel levels, as the red light is on there for that AlphaTauri, isn't it? And maybe he is going slowly now to try and conserve some fuel. Good spot there from Dylan. Nobody else. Let's have a look and see if anybody else has got the same issue there as Vessier. TK is running out of fuel, it looks like, which is bad news for the Haas driver as well. And let's have a look at Dynamo Dan's on the same issue as well, same for Kaz, and well, that's about it. I think everybody else seems to be okay for fuel at the moment, but good spot indeed there from Dylan there, and that yeah, it's not looking good there, as I think it was just flicking on and off there through for Vessier as he went round the spoon curve, so potentially he's on the cusp there of the fuel limit. We've got 26 laps done and dusted now. He's got to try and lift and coast it back to the finish line. He's going to have 2 laps to go there as he comes around the final corner to finish off lap 26. No, I think, sorry, it is lap 26 now, isn't it? He's got 3 laps to go in that case, which is even worse because, of course, you've got more fuel to save with 3 laps to go. But Speed Car doesn't have any issues there. Jin as well has got himself a good lot of fuel on board, it looks like, anyway. So he's got himself through turns 1 and 2 very nicely indeed as well. And Vessier now is, like I said, he was dropping off the back there. I think, like I said, when Dylan spotted it, I think he was trying to save some fuel and maybe do a bit of lifting coasting there to make sure he's got enough fuel to get to the end of the Grand Prix. But at the moment, he does anyway, so like I said, it could be okay. Hopefully it'll be okay there for the drivers there. Those fuel lights there flashing might mean differently, and it comes across the finish line at the end of lap 28. Into the pits goes Echo from the Alfa Romeo. Unfortunately there, it wasn't going his way, so maybe onto the soft compound tyres for the end of the Grand Prix for him. Winnie is picked for soft compound tyres as well, so maybe going for the fastest lap point as well in the Ferrari. driver of the day nominees are Jenna, Sirius Lapper and Vessia from the wonderful Smithy. Let me see if I can do the poll. Well, usually I can't do the poll on this account, but I will give it a shot. Where am I? Let me try and do the poll for you guys quickly. But whilst we're doing that, we'll have a look at the order. There is TK and Marsky switching places as well. Vessia and Jake the Slayer, sorry, have been battling away as well. As let me try and get this poll sorted. There we go then. Start poll quickly, and we'll put in a driver of the day. And we want to put in Gina as well as... Gina, of course, is on for the title here as well, isn't he? So, yes, he's my candidate driver of the day for sure. Vessia there and Mushroom. And there we go then. The poll is up and running in this one. Let me just get that sorted. Good stuff indeed. Right then, lap 27. We've got more pit stop activity there for TK. He's into the pit lane. There is the Haas driver. Bit of an odd call that, because I think he was on for at least a point anyway. He's going to have to bank on getting the fastest lap point as well. Instead, I should say, in the Haas there. So yeah, a bit of an interesting one that. He of course has some rivals there for the fastest lap point. Currently, Winnie and Echo on the soft compound tyres. The fastest lap is currently with Speed Kai there, 34.846 there for the Red Bull driver. So that is what they've got to try and aim for now in this one. But there we go, on to lap 27 now of 28. The driver of the day poll, like I was saying, is in the comment section. So get your vote in for that one as well. Is it working? I think it's working. Hopefully it's working for you guys. Let me know if there's any issues anyway. But hopefully it's working all right. So get your votes in for driver of the day. It's Irish New Potato there. Has had a spin at the exit of the spoon curve again. And like I was saying, it's not gone well for New Potato. He's still going to be within the points pen positions if he can just hold on to it for next lap and a bit. Or next lap and a couple of corners, to be honest. But unfortunately for New Potato there, he's only going to be able to claim 2 points there at the maximum there in this Grand Prix. Oh, what's he doing now? He's off the circuit. He just needs to make sure he crosses the finish line there, New Potato, because he's still within the points pen positions. He needs to make sure he keeps it on the grey stuff and gets to the finish line here, because, like I said, I think he's just not in it, and he's coming into the pit lane instead. I'm not quite sure what is going on here for New Potato, because he could have comfortably got himself a couple of points there as he tries to get himself into the pits, it seems, but he's struggling there in New Potato, and he's into the pit lane now, but I don't know why he's making the stop there. Unfortunately, he's pit and quit there from P9 basically, and that is him out of the Grand Prix. So yeah, unfortunately that is New Potato done and dusted in this Grand Prix. That promotes Swanshanks into the points pen position, which is great news for Swanshanks, and thank you very much, I would say he's probably saying there to the Irishman, but yeah, I'm not quite sure why he needed to pit and quit there, because he was currently was running in P9 as well, going to get some points for himself and the team, but nonetheless that is not going to be going his way there this time. Echo might have said it's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. That's what I thought he probably could have done as well, but nonetheless that is that there. Speed Kai is going to come around at the final corner there to win the Chinese Grand Prix here in Bronze Season 5, round 23, the penultimate round of the season, as we have an Alfa Romeo, I think, of Echo. They're trying to get himself back through, but nonetheless, Speed Kai there finishes off the Grand Prix. But here we go then, round the hairpin for the championship here. Jinner there in Season 5 of Bronze is going to claim the driver's title here in the penultimate round of the season here in China. What a season it's been there for the Alpine driver, and he crosses the line to take the championship here, and fantastic stuff indeed there for Jinner. What a season it's been, and like I said, a very good fight back as well when it seemed that Dynamo Dan might have had it wrapped up there a few rounds ago, but Jinner there is your winner in the driver's title there for Bronze, and what a season he's had, and what a result indeed as well. Great race indeed for tonight as well, just to cap off a fantastic season as well. And Jinner there in the Alpine has had one of the best seasons I think he's had in ALR, and he fully deserves the championship here in Bronze. And what a season it's been. Will be in silver potentially next season. He'll have to try and compete there for the titles in that one as well, but what a Grand Prix, and what a result there for the Alpine driver. And of course the Alpine team wrapped up the constructors as well last round, but they have now capped off the performance there with a fantastic result here in the drivers as well. The drivers title has been confirmed there for Jinner. Good stuff indeed. Vessier does get that podium place as well. Great result there for Vessier. Jake the Slayer in P4 there on a good reserve appearance. J-Dog into P5 as well with a good result from McLaren. And then we've got the likes of Sickles Muck there, Luke as well coming through. Unfortunately, New Potato there pit and quit at the very end of the Grand Prix, which was a bit of a shame because, like I said, he was still within the points position. But thankfully, for Swanshank's point of view, that gave him a point. So that is not all doom and gloom there for the Alfa Romeo team. So good stuff indeed there from him, as well. We can see his Speed Kai there taking to the podium there, but of course it is going to be Jenner there who crosses the line to has crossed the line already, of course, to claim the Drivers' Championship. And there he is there in P2 there in this race. Of course, Speed Kai there had the pace there to claim the victory very comfortably indeed, it looked like. But Jenner there with a fantastic race as well, nonetheless, starting from P5 on the grid, I think it was. And he managed to get himself up into P2 there to secure the Drivers' Championship as well with a fantastic result. Great stuff indeed there from Jenner as well. And that is that sorted for the Alpine outfit. That's the constructors and the drivers' title wrapped up as well. There's Speed Kai there is your race winner from pole position as well. Jenner there in P2, Vessier in P3 as well. Great result from Vessier. Jake the Slayer in P4, J-Dog in P5, Sickers Muck there in P6, Serious Mushroom P7, Luke in P8 there, Marvsky in P9, Swanshanks does get that final point there in P10, Vintage in P11, Winnie in P12, TK P13, Echo Meister got the fastest lap point there from in P14, Kaz in P15, Dynamo Dan in P16, New Potato there pit and quit. Unfortunately, Dukanko there is technically classified because he didn't pit and quit. He was in P18. Styles there in P19 as well, and Kiki pit and quit, and unfortunately caused a bit of an issue there in pit lane as well for Luke and for Echo as well, I think it was. But that is the Grand Prix for China done and dusted. Round 23 of 24. We've got one more remaining, of course, but the driver's title has been wrapped up here in China, and it has gone to the Alpine of Jenner there. He's got the points that he needs to take the title tonight as well. Fantastic stuff indeed there from Jenner, and good stuff from all the drivers there all the drivers who competed so far this season as well, to be honest. Right then, I need to end the poll, and I also need to get the interviews done and dusted. Hopefully I'm not sure if they've been added or not. I'm having to sit here and wait, to be honest. I have to sit here and wait, and you'll have to bear with me. So so stay tuned, and hopefully we'll get the interviews underway at some point. Of course, we need to interview the championship winner as well at some point, which would be good. But yeah, hopefully we can get that sorted at some time today. Would be good. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, fantastic result there from all the drivers there in the top 10, to be honest. All the drivers there seem to gain some places there, apart from Speed Kai, of course, who started on pole position. So everybody managed to gain some places there in the order, and that is very promising indeed there for the drivers there who've put in a good shift here in China. I think Echo's already asked there to not have China on the calendar. If he was listening to me earlier on, then he would have noticed that I said that already China is not going to be on the calendar for the next season. So there we go then. We have got the champion, I think, joining us in the commentary box. Let's have a look, and let's set the thingies up so that we can try and listen to him. Gino, I think you're in with me. How are you there?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How about you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I just want to let you know. I don't know if you know yet, but you've been crowned the champion of the drivers' champion of Bronze Season 5. How about that?
Oh, ecstatic, mate, ecstatic. I can't believe it, to be honest. I didn't think I had it like 3-4 races ago. Then yeah, I managed to pull it off. So absolutely buzzing. Yeah,
I was saying in the commentary as well. I think it was about 5 races around Mexico, wasn't it, when you sort of started to pull it back, and it now in your favour. You've won the championship with 1 race to go, and it's been one hell of a season from yourself and Dynamo Dan, of course. Do you have any comments to say to Dynamo Dan there? Of course, he's a runner-up there of the Bronze Season 5 season as well.
Yeah, my commiserates to him, but yeah, he's been the top opponent. You know, it's like he's been up there. He's been consistent, and then I don't know how, but yeah, I managed to pull it back to him.
Well, it's been an absolutely fantastic season for yourself and for the Alpines as well. The Alpines wrapped up the constructors last week, So there's really nothing else you could have won, to be honest. So fantastic stuff indeed from yourself, and it's been a pleasure to watch as well. I mean, I've been watching most of the races anyway, but and Sean's been on comms, but unfortunately I'm filling in for him today. But unfortunately for everyone listening, that is. But no, a fantastic result from yourself today as well. And what was your thoughts for the Chinese Grand Prix? Did you think you'd be able to get yourself a podium, or are you just going to try and hold on to a few points there to make sure you finished ahead of Dynamo Dan in this race?
To be honest, what they call it before it, I just thought as long as I finish ahead of Dynamo Dan, and then after what they call the qualifying, I was like, yeah, all right then. Just don't do all so into turn one. Just try keep it clean, and then after the first after the pit stop, I just wasn't taking no chances.
Well, it kept it clean and consistent there in this one, as you've done pretty much all season as well, and it's paid off for you as well. That is Ginner there, our champion there for season 5 of bronze. What a result from the Alpine driver as well, and well deserved indeed as well. Thank you very much for joining us as well tonight.
Thank you.
I think we've got Vess here as well in the party. I'm not quite sure if he joined us or not. Can you hear us?
Yep.
Good stuff indeed. And I think that's your first podium here in bronze. How about that from yourself? What a result from you as well.
Yeah, it was a good race. Probably could have got better, but was really struggling with fuel for some reason. Although I put extra fuel in, so I couldn't really push. I was saving fuel the whole race.
Yeah, we saw. I think it was Dylan who noticed that in the comment section as well, that the fuel light came on with about 4 or 5 laps to go still, and we were just controlling the pace. You had Jet Slayer all over the back of you in the other Alpine as well, but you were just controlling the pace, trying to do some lifting and coasting there for the final few laps, were you?
I was doing it midway through the first stint, to be honest, and then I pushed a bit, getting past Irish, New Potato and Jake, and then I tried to pull a second gap and then try and save, but I couldn't, so I just tried to save as much fuel as possible without being overtaken. But obviously I had 3 seconds, so
you got the result that you needed in the end anyway, with that, of course, like I said, with the penalties there for the drivers behind, but still a very commanding performance from yourself as well, the first podium of your season as well in the penultimate race. Hopefully we'll see you on the podium in the final race as well, fingers crossed. But what's your thoughts there as we just round off there for Abu Dhabi for the final Grand Prix of the season?
Yeah, hopefully I get a bit more luck next season as well. As I've had a few incidents and like pens ruining chances of podiums, so hopefully I keep up the performance like this tonight for next season.
Good stuff indeed. Well, we'll hopefully see you back, of course, next week for the final race and for the next season as well on F1 23, I should say. Blimey, not 22 again. But there we go then. Good stuff indeed. I don't think Speed Kai managed to make it to the party, did he?
I'm here.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, you are here. He is here. Good stuff indeed. The race winner, of course, from pole position as well. You pretty much didn't have anything to worry about, I don't think, in that race. You picked up a 3-second penalty on the pit entry, and I think that was the only problem with your race, as far as I could tell. Is there anything else any other issues you might have had, or were you just breezing through that Chinese Grand Prix tonight?
The start, the Haas spun, and I had a little heart attack because I didn't know if I should have gone left or right, so I just decided to go right and made myself panic a bit, but I made it through. There was a few times where I nearly lost the rear end, but apart from that, I just tried to stay consistent, keep consistent lap times, and yeah, made it through at the end.
Well, it was a fantastic result indeed there for yourself, and it looked like at one point it was going to be the Red Bull 1-2. Were you giving your teammate a bit of a tow there in the first stint?
No, because I'm not on the party with him, but if he had kept up with me, I'd have probably pulled everyone at him through because I'm a reserve, so to me the result doesn't matter as much as it would matter to him. So, but yeah, he spun out, didn't he? So I think. So
Yeah, he didn't have much
Yeah.
luck there, but like I said, it looked like both the Red Bulls. It seemed like a realistic race, to be honest. At one point in the first stint, where both the Red Bulls were disappearing off into the distance compared to the rest of the field there, but nonetheless, from pole position there to the race win speed there with the Chinese Grand Prix winner there here in round 23 of bronze as well. Like I said, the penultimate round of the season is done and dusted now for gold, silver, and bronze. We'll be back there in a week's time. They're here in Abu Dhabi there for the final race of the season. Of course, tomorrow night is the 100% league there around Monaco. And which is going to be one hell of a Grand Prix indeed. And then we've got, of course, like I said, Abu Dhabi in a week's time for gold, silver, and bronze. And we round off the 100% league in Monza in a week's time from tomorrow. So stay tuned to ALR. There's plenty more action coming up. And thank you very much to the top three here in the commentary box. And congratulations once again to Jenna, the bronze season 5.